Hey gamers, Lord Arcane coming at you on Friday the 13th. Hope you're having a great one. If you are not, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the horror aspect of the world. I guarantee the Knights Templar aren't big fans of Friday the 13th either, but that's neither here nor there. I'll let you look up that one. Yeah, seriously. Um, Today I want to talk about Stellaris. Okay, it's our gaming news of the day, and there's a couple different reasons for it. First, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Stellaris. I've started writing up my notes on it. If I actually gave you a really in depth, you'd be here until tomorrow or the next day, possibly. But I'll give you some briefs on it and then tell you kind of what's going on and why it's in the news. So, if you're not familiar with Stellaris, it is a huge 4X space civilization style game. And in that, you have your own species, you build your own empire, spread out among the stars, conquer it. They have the star systems, and each of these little dots on this map, for example, next to me are star systems. They're connected by pathways that you use to travel around and whatnot. It facilitates trade. It also provides choke points and natural defenses from invasions and things like that. Pirates naturally do what they do. They attack from places where you're not expecting them to, but there you go. Big focus on the game is exploration. You'll have science vessels led by hooray scientists go around and explore anomalies like black holes or alien artifacts or uh, pick them. Each of the DLCs adds more to this particular pile. And then as far as the DLCs, that's one of the things I wanted to chat with about. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, you got your individual nations, as you can see on the map. There's several of them. They're various different sizes. The way the game is basically designed is you start out in the middle of your history. You just figure out when your species, how it got to where it is, what the civilization, what caused the current, shift into current civilization structure. You pick out your species if you choose to play your custom species. How agriculturally minded or how scientific minded we are. What do we think about other species, aliens? What's our reproductive capabilities like? It's pretty diverse. What's our home planet like? How wet? How dry? How extreme is the environment? Things along that line. So it's a very diverse game in that regard, and your government type is built by your traits. So you could have elected leaders every several years. You could have a monarch, hold on for a long time and then hand it to his or her descendant. You can actually choose whether all your leaders are male or female, whether it's completely ambiguous which ones they are, or just leave it so it randomly decides who's running for office or who your next heir is. All of that. Okay, so it's very diverse. It's kind of fun from an anthropologist standpoint to see what you can do with cultures, and they put a lot of thought into it. All right, as far as resources, another major important part of these strategy games, there are a variety of different ones. You've got your own scientific research, of course. You've got credits, you gotta have money. You've got energy you have to collect. You have minerals you have to collect. You got some rare resources that are needed for certain advances, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very complex game. If you love the complex games, this is for you. Now, the reason it's in the news. Number one, personally my favorite, it's on sale right now. I love sales. I'm poor, broke, and all that stuff, and so anything on sale is a good thing for me. I already have it, so I don't need to buy it. But to put that in numbers, at least in Steam, for right now, the base game is only $8. It's a good time to pick it up if you haven't. But you will play it for a while. I was just looking at my Steam here a minute ago. 207 hours. I haven't actually finished a game. I get creative, cultural, anthropologist stuff. I go, well, what would happen if I did this with my species? So I recreate my species constantly. It drives my wife nuts. We've played a bit of multiplayer. You can do multiplayer. You can form alliances. It's a great game if you have nothing to do during quarantine. Unfortunately, quarantine, well, unfortunately from this standpoint, but fortunately for other standpoints, Yeah, quarantine hopefully is coming to an end fairly soon. We might actually see people face to face again. So yeah, I should have probably done this 2 years ago, but good game if you're looking at a really complex strategy game. Now, talked about the sale, and by the sale I mean a lot of the DLCs included in the sale. There's not all of it, but a lot of it. There are 19 different DLCs, at least listed through Steam, that you can pick up for the thing. I own 8 or 9 of them, something like that. You got a lot of variety, and those DLCs will include things like one expansion is focused on more powerful nations, federations, agreements with other players. One DLC was focused on doomsday weapons, because planets or ships that can blow up planets are not powerful enough. We got to go up the whole system. Hit the sun. All sorts of things along that line. It's a very interesting game. The most recent, anyway, you'll find the DLC you like. The other reason I wanted to talk about this as far as news is the most recent DLC called Overlord just barely launched. Overlord, and now I haven't played Overlord, I don't have it, but it seems to be more focused on the crazy powerful empires dominating the others. And how do you facilitate that? Do you, as the crazy powerful empire, how much freedom do you give your subordinates, etc.? Again, I haven't played it, so this is just what I gather. I'll give a link in the description. You guys can look at it yourself and see if you agree with me. Put this thought process together fairly quickly, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it's a really interesting DLC. It's, as I said, it just barely launched, so I haven't even looked at the price tag on it yet. So let me just pull that up real fast because I can. Overlord's $20. To put that in, I mentioned the other DLCs on sale. This one I showed prior to that was aquatic species. Why do we have to live on a colonized land? Let's go underwater. Why not? Necroids, because undead are always fun. Federations I talked about briefly. Lithoids, ancient relics, mega corporations. Pick your own future in what DLCs you do, and you can select which ones you choose to activate at any time. And there's also a lot of mods you can do to add to the game. So I mean, there's a ton out here of customization you can do with it. But I would check it out if you haven't. If the massive space civilization style games are your ball of wax, I love them. But as I said, I tend to get playing it a while. I go, I wonder if I could have done this different. If I made my species a little more xenophobic, how would that affect gameplay? If I made them a little more physically intimidating, how would that affect gameplay? Because when you attack a planet, you have to deal with troops. You have to deal with troop transport. You have to deal with ship combat. You customize your ships based upon the technologies you have. It's really a complex game. And I love it. I eat it up. But as I said, I tend to bounce around on what I'm planning to do. But I'll give you links in the description to Paradox. Paradox is the publisher of the game. And you can take a peek at it, see what DLCs are out there for it. And hopefully you pick it up before it goes off of sale because, prices being low are always a bonus. I will talk to you later, guys. See you on Tuesday. And may the Force be with you. Except I can't say that because this isn't a Star Wars game. Have a good one.